With the composite door market, we have been discussing drivers and the future, but as with any industry, there's always dangers moving forward. Now, the composite door has been one of the few areas of growth, but what do we think could be the dangers?
I think the industry we're in has a history of a race to the bottom on price.
I agree.
We had some, in the past, we've had the conservatory market where the prices were decimated over a few years, as everybody believed they could make it cheaper than the next guy. The biggest risk we have, I believe, in this market is that we take all the value out of the composite door, that we people start to de-engineer the product on the door itself, they reduce the quality of the hardware. Roger's mentioned about the importance of warranties, etc. I think in this quality of a door, this price of a door, you expect to have the best quality products on it. I've seen the same in the glass industry. Lower cost, lower aesthetics, glass coming into the market. Everyone's trying to take £1 or £2 here out of manufacturing cost. That's the risk I think that it comes to, is that we end up taking the value out of it, and we sort of kill the golden goose.
Yeah. Everybody understandably wants the most competitive product, and they want to buy competitively, and that's totally understandable. Taking cost out of this product is the wrong way to go, I feel. We need to offer a competitive product. We need to give them a good package rather than just that product too, as well, as an aside. But to take cost out of that product is detrimental, particularly given its pedigree, its and the way in which and where it is in the marketplace at this moment in time. It's highly positioned, and I think it's set to continue there, and with differentiation even higher. Totally the wrong way to take cost out, to take unnecessary cost out.
I think you can sum it up under one word, and that's quality. Again, it's picked up on the comment that both guys make here. Whether it's at a component level or the actual finished door set level, what the biggest danger is looking to reduce the price, looking to cut corners and therefore reduce the quality. And it's not a product that is there to be de-engineered. The nature of it, what's actually made the composite door successful, is the fact that it is well manufactured, that it does have good security, that it does have, as we found out in recent years with the door energy ratings, excellent performance from a door energy rating viewpoint. All things that are key drivers when consumers are looking to buy products. People are absolutely paranoid about the household bills. The whole energy rating, the Green Deal, is a huge debate that we could spend 3 weeks talking about and probably never get to the end answer on. But it's a huge driver that is not going to disappear. And to de-engineer the products now, or to attempt to de-engineer the product, would seriously affect that. And we don't need to do that as an industry. We actually, for once, need to embrace the fact that we have a product that we can all work with. We can all actually add value to that product and actually make the margins, because the discerning consumer that is out there is prepared to pay the price for it. And it isn't the cheapest product on the market, but it's neither the most expensive either. We aren't the cheapest supplier of this particular component. There are people who are far, far cheaper than we are. Yet year on year, our growth is sustained. We probably represent somewhere in the region of 65% of the composite door market. And if it was so wrong, we would have seen a decline, and we haven't. We've stuck very, very true to our beliefs that we have to have a quality product and a quality service. And to be fair, all of our customers have remained extremely loyal. We've worked through any issues that have been there. We've worked with them to try and develop the marketplace, and we feel that we're reaping the rewards of that by having that close relationship and actually offering a service. It's not just about the hype, it's not just about the marketing, it's not just about people making false promises and saying things that, frankly, at a given time will not actually come to fruition. It's about actually, deep down, having a real belief in the product that you have and actually developing that product and taking it forward.
Is there a danger of any other companies coming in and taking away from the quality? I mean, you guys seem to have a relationship within the market.
I think Guy said at the start that we, unfortunately, in our industry, there is a history of certain sectors where people see a good growth in the sector and they bring in cheaper products. But I think what's been said around the table, I think there is a great opportunity, and with people like ourselves at the top end with quality, and as Dave said, the product has to perform. It has to perform. It's easy to take cost out of a product, but I think with industry standards and warranties
and the positioning for the consumer, they'll pay the right price for the product. And no, I think in the short term, I don't see any risks in the short term, but the more this market expands, then people will want to come and ride on the back of it. And I think we can work towards keeping the product at the right level, and we'll get the value back and the margins back on that product as well. So
what is still essentially an emerging product, and we've got to remember it's still an emerging product
it is,
despite
yeah.
its
Yeah.
popularity.
Yeah.
Then the danger, of course, will be that there'll be new entrants into the marketplace. The difference for me, and I don't want to get too product specific, but you know, and again we've touched on this product, this topic, the pedigree of the product in question, and the warranty that we firmly put behind it with the amalgamation of constituent parts means that we're confident. However, someone to bring it in at a low level potentially could disrupt that customer confidence.
Okay, now you did touch on this slightly in the last conversation we were having, Dave, about energy ratings. And obviously, like you say, it's a product that you could speak about for quite a while, but I do want to touch on it a bit now. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on energy ratings, I think it's absolutely essential. Again, I think the people within the industry who, let me just rewind slightly, let's touch on the fact that there are legislation now in place where all manufacturers and installers of product have a legal obligation to ensure that the product is fit for purpose. So before we even debate the pros and cons of some of the deals that are available, there's actually a legal requirement, and this year saw the emergence of CE marking for door sets as well at the beginning of July. And again, that is a legal requirement that all people within the industry who are involved in doors have to take on board. In terms of whether it's right or wrong, I think anything that, without sounding too green, anything that is going to add a benefit to the householders' bills, anything that's going to improve the overall carbon footprint of the country and the industry has got to be a positive move. And everybody should be working towards trying to make sure that the products that they're offering are the best that they can possibly offer in terms of meeting those requirements. The beauty of the composite door is that without having to do really anything, we actually already had a product that was fit for purpose, that met all the criteria, and already we're seeing benefits as a result of that.
And Guy, would you agree with that?
I think door energy ratings are very important for the composite door market. Dave and Roger have touched on earlier, the important thing in a door is the security, the aesthetics and the thermal efficiency. These are what drives the market. Door energy ratings, with its very simple A, B, C, D, E rating system that the general population understands, I think is the right way to do it. This industry talks a lot in its trade press about U values and these very, very complex calculations. When you're actually selling the door to the consumer, at the end, they don't understand U values, probably don't understand what PAS 23 and PAS 24 mean on security and integrity of the door. What they understand is simple energy ratings. This door is more efficient than that door. I think the same applies with the security. You know, secure by design for the police initiative.
Yeah.
The logo on it, it's very clear for sales when you're selling a door to say, these are the credentials the door has and these are provable credentials, which are understandable, rather than the very technical area of U values, thermal transmission rates, all the things that the consumer probably doesn't understand and doesn't really care about. We all know door energy ratings from buying a fridge.
Yeah. There's certainly an end user familiarity with the Rainbow ABC rating, and I think that was certainly beginning to roll out into the marketplace as to whether it be certainly a B2B level, a B2C level, business to consumer level. I'm sure the customer is aware of ABCs, but I'm not sure that whether they consider it as part of their windows and doors. More so windows, certainly not doors. It started to move forward, and then our industry then concentrated on CE marking, and that's overshadowed it. However, some of the process management, some of the product integrity questions that were raised actually helped us with the CE marking, but also with their certification, which we've as a company we've now moved forward and got in conjunction with CERTAS, and we've been one of the first to do that. We then will roll that out to our customer base. But yes, very important.
Do you think, Mark, you made a point there that at the moment the perception is at consumer level that whilst they recognise that obviously the energy rating there, the ABC marking that we're all familiar with, that to a certain extent that it's been possibly ignored by the consumer. But is that also because I know for a fact that what you're presenting actually performs very well in the first place? So is it a case that because you've already got a product that's performing well, that people then aren't raising the question because they can see for themselves? Do you think there's a possibility of that?
Yeah, to a degree. I think certainly the product integrity, which we've been talking quite heavily on in this debate today, it is good. The A's and B's, as you know, and certainly A's across the range on our particular product mix is available. Our customer base are particularly aware that it will be A's and B's, and certainly will drive that message back. As to whether the consumer is aware of that or they choose to ignore it, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. Would you buy a B fridge or as opposed to an A? In fact, I'll ask you that question.
We should. I'm the one to ask because I don't know, have anything
How much
within
emphasis
it.
do you have on the?
I think a good question would be, rather than would the consumer worry about this or be something that consumer thinks about when buying a door, is it not more the industry's responsibility to be thinking about green energy, whether the consumer is aware of it or not?
I think so. I think I touched on it earlier. I think we have a duty of care and an obligation to provide the best products available into the consumer market, and I don't think we should be ashamed of doing that. I think as an industry, for far too long, it's been overshadowed by, if you like, the public perception of the door-to-door salesman. And certainly in recent years, we can see across all sectors within the industry a huge change and a huge shift to far more professionalism. And certainly the people I encounter, whether it's directly within the composite door market or further afield, I think there's a genuine desire to do the right thing. But far too often things are done in isolation rather than as a collective. And we're here talking about a singular product. It can come in many forms and many guises by many suppliers. But there's a singular product here that has certainly over the last few years ridden the storm of the recession. You know, more often than not I get quoted, what's it like, you know, you're so lucky to have the one product that's ridden the storm. You're so lucky to be in a position where you've not seen your sales go backwards in a recession. And we are lucky, but I think you also make your luck. And we made our luck 7 years ago by picking the right partner in terms of the door, deliberately driving continuously improvements and changes to that product so that it could become the best possible product in the marketplace. Other people sometimes choose to do other things and prefer to invest their time and energies into the marketing and the hype around something. We've chosen not to. We've chosen to invest our time in very much in the early days, in the infancy, in getting the product absolutely right. We've done that. Now's the time to market that product to the masses. And I'm not talking about flashy campaigns. It's about honest, truthful messages to the public that tells them that this is the product of choice. This is, if you want a door that performs well from an insulation point of view and from a security point of view, and let's not forget it looks bloody nice, then at the end of the day, this is a product to have.
And that's where energy ratings will become important, I think,
Correct.
Dave.
I think so.
Because it's something that a consumer understands, and it's a way of proving that your door is better than certain PVC doors, its insulation value, it's better than certain types of timber doors. Yeah. This is a very high quality product that our customers are selling, and the message needs to get across to the consumer. This is just how good it is. And DERs are one of the ways to do it, I think.
Taking Dave's point now, given the integrity, the build quality of the product, in our eyes it's becoming, because it's going to perform so well, that we are a little bit relaxed with it. We're not pushing it and driving it as probably the way we should. The market is aware that, yes, it's a composite product, yes, it's going to perform. Is there an expectation that it's going to perform? It's good, it's positive that that's the way in which it's been manifested itself. However, do you think that's...
Well, I think it depends what you view as the market. If the market is the installer, the retailer of windows, they probably understand that the composite door has got exceptional performance levels. But at the end, we've got to get this to the consumer. People make this choice to replace an old panel door, replace a timber door. They need to have that information. And this industry, if they could have talking to itself,
Yes.
and discussing U values and my product's better than his product, and I've had this testing done. But we need to get that message to the consumer that the composite door is probably the best performing door on the market. And that, not only in the door energy ratings, but with things like Secure by Design that the handle and lock manufacturers need to work with.
I think there's another point as well that none of us have actually mentioned, and I think it's relevant, and I'm happy to debate it. And it's something that Mark kind of touched on earlier in terms of historically how the consumers bought product. And I think you said earlier, Mark, that people went out and the door salesman did a great job of selling all the windows and throwing a PVC panel in there. So it was almost buy 10 windows, get one door free. That's changed now. People are actually going out, and certainly in our experience, and now are not actually changing the doors with the windows. They're actually buying doors in isolation. So, and I think does a recession help with anything? I think it's certainly helped in terms of the refurbishment market, the consumer market, in that people have stopped moving house. And I know recent figures are saying that the house prices are going up and that's starting to move, but certainly over the last 4 years, the whole house industry, the whole new build industry has been very much on its knees through this recession. And I think now that, or during that period of time, people have said, right, well, I'm going to upgrade the house that I've actually got. And so I think there's been that real choice made that, sometimes there's been sorry Mark, the yellowing PVC panel. I'm not saying it's one of yours, but there's the yellowing PVC panel. The one way, the one way to very, very quickly upgrade the aesthetic of the property is to change the front door. Changing the windows doesn't necessarily change the look of the property because it's usually plate glass and that's all that people can see. There are people again who have changed because they want better performance and better energy ratings and so on and so forth, but there's very much a move now where people are buying doors in isolation. And again, I come back to that, and I probably sound like a long playing record here, but it's our collective as an industry, it's our responsibility, it's our duty of care to educate the public the best way that we can and explain to them in words, as Guy said, that they understand through things like the energy rating, through things like Secured by Design, to ensure that when they're making that choice, and it's a key choice that they're making, they're going to spend several hundreds of pounds no matter what door that they're buying. They're not going to buy anything less than that for the entrance. They're actually making the right choice for them. And I think we all have a part to play in that.
Do you think, Dave, that if you take the new build market, which hopefully is picking up on the signs that it's improving, but the big house builders are using composite doors. Are the house builder, when they have the nice showroom and they have the salespeople, are they portraying energy levels about? Or do you think they talk about doors, and do they really get over the point that this is a really high quality door?
I'm not sure because. Again, I look at the house builder as being a customer. Yeah. Whoever goes along and buys the property from them is the customer's customer in some respect. And I think it's the same message. I still think there's an element of education there. And again, historically, you look at house building, it's not an area that we have been prevalent in over the previous years because they are very much driven by price and price alone. They've been buying a very, very cheap product and it's just basically filling a hole. Yeah. I live on a fairly new housing estate, and what's reassuring for me is the more I drive around, it's about 10 years old, the more I drive around that housing estate, the more I'm seeing the traditional steel doors disappearing and composite doors appearing. I think certainly the regional house builders for the last couple of years have embraced composite doors and the right composite doors in terms of ones that are fit for purpose to go with the guarantees that are given by the house builder. I'm not so sure that the larger nationals have yet got onto it, because still to a certain extent driven by the price.
Yeah.
But again, it's part and parcel of what we need to do as an industry, to educate the house builder, to try and get them on board and actually tell them that, you know, this is the right product. How successful we'll be, it'll be an interesting, probably another debate in how we tackle the housing market as an overall. But I do believe that there are changes there, definitely.
I think with the consumer market as well, naturally, when people are thinking of energy savings, they think about windows and roofing. A front door or a back door doesn't come into the equation when thinking of green energy.
Yeah, and it's in the top three. I mean, you're absolutely right. Roof insulation, windows and doors, you're really your top three in terms of how you insulate your property.
How do you think the market could bring this factor forward with the door?
I think it's just education. I think it is actually collectively getting together, and there are organisations that are part of the industry, national bodies, that really should work and come together and actually work as a collective for the right reasons to benefit the overall industry. We've all got something to gain from this. Every supplier of components has got something to gain. Every fabricator has got something to gain. Every installer has got something to gain. And it's not always, part of the very, very first questions is about, you know, maintaining and improving margins, and that is absolutely critical to, you know, let's not be ashamed of actually making money. You know, anybody who's in business should be in business to make money.
That's why we're here.
Exactly. And I think
here.
anybody who says that they're not, and that's not a driver, then they probably need to have a look at their business plan for the next 3 to 5 years, because the chances are they'll not be the chances are they'll not be in business. But I think there's a greater responsibility for the industry as well. It's been through some very, very hard times. And I think when, as an industry, you can latch onto a product that everybody can benefit and everybody can get some benefit from, why drive the price down? Why de-engineer that? Why make it a Me Too product that frankly, as an industry, we seem to have done for the last 30, 40 years? You know, why not change that? Why not look at it slightly differently and say, let's embrace it, let's work together, and actually let's come up with a product and develop further products to complement it that will make it a success for years to come.
Dave, do you believe that the consumer is introduced to the composite in the main currently, or do you believe they have an awareness of a composite product now?
I would have said 2 years ago they were introduced to it. I think now there is more of an awareness. However, I think that awareness is still very much in its infancy. And I think there's still a lot of mixed messages, and I understand why, because everybody's got their own sort of angle in terms of marketing, whether people are doing it online or through brochures or advertising or whatever method they're choosing. Everybody's clambering for sort of market share. But I do believe now, and from personal experiences, I've been involved with composite doors for 8 years now. 8 years ago, when I mentioned composite doors to people, they had no idea what a composite door was. 4 years ago, one or two kind of claimed, I've got a few friends who were in the police, they were aware of it because they kept cursing me because they could never break the bloody door down when they were doing raids. I think 2 years ago, more than likely, I think 2 years ago, you look at the shift change that we've seen in terms of where the sales are going. And when I do personal searches on the internet, as I do regularly to try and understand what other people are doing, it's far more prevalent now. There's a lot more there.
Dave,
But
6 days ago, I didn't know about composite doors.
Now you're an
After
expert.
speaking to industry professionals, I want a composite door.
An interesting fact is that and I have it to hand here, there's over 40,000 searches specifically for the composite door term, and that was just in July this year.
Yeah.
So there is an awareness of it, but I'm still undecided as to the extent of which.
I think you're right, Mark. But is that an awareness of that people have heard of composite doors? And again, I'm going to sound very trady now. Not necessarily the features and benefits of what those composite doors. We've done a great job, I think, collectively within the industry of promoting within the trade. I think in terms of the consumer, what we've got to do now is consumerise it, soften that message. As Guy says, nobody wants to understand that, and I don't understand the really long equation that is written down that works out the U values. We have people in the organisation that do, and experts elsewhere within the industry. But Mr. and Mrs. Smith just want to know whether it's A, B, C, D or E, and the chances are they're going to pick, it's a bit like your O-levels when you were at school, an A, B and C is what counts. D and E are almost making up the numbers.